All right, Hannah, here we go. East Finals Game 1 tonight, 8 Eastern, ESPN. Cavaliers, Knicks. Knicks playing host. The franchise, they had major success against in the playoffs. They have a 4-0 series record against Cleveland. One of 3 active teams they have never lost the series to. New York has been on a historic tear in this year's postseason, outscoring their opponents by almost 19.5 points per game. The best point differential in any 10-game span in NBA playoff history. Cleveland will be fighting an uphill battle in this one after 2 hard-fought 7-game series. Teams who were in a 7-game series facing a team coming off a sweep have lost 19 of the 23 series in NBA history. All right, we've got this game covered from both sides. NBA reporter Jamal Collier with the Cavs, NBA reporter Vinny Goodwill with the Knicks. And let us start with Jamal Collier. Jamal, Donovan Mitchell is in the conference finals for the very first time. What's the team saying about his leadership going into this series?
Yeah, Jay, they're giving him credit for really keeping this team together. It actually goes back to that Christmas Day game, Cavs versus Knicks. The Cavs lost that game, and shortly after, they were just a game over 500. When you think about the expectations that this Cavaliers team had coming into the season, Kenny Atkinson said, look, this could have been a point where we really splintered. But Mitchell held them together, not just with the way he was playing on the court, but with keeping it positive, rallying the troops, and really challenging guys to respond to the moment. And you've seen the team, they went 35-16 from that point in the regular season. And even through 2 adverse playoff series, they were able to get to these East Finals, a place that before the season we kind of all expected them to be.
Jamal, what is Kenny Atkinson saying about the challenge the Knicks present to Cleveland?
Well, Atkinson called this team a juggernaut. And when you see the point differential is what Kenny pointed out. You guys just showed it, 19.5. The way the Knicks have been blowing out teams, that's hard to do in any setting, especially in a playoff setting. And they know they're going to face a rested Knicks team after sweeping Philly, which is not the case for Cleveland, coming off 2 7-game series, needing to put away Toronto and Detroit. But that was really important for this Cavs team, they feel like, is, being able to sort of weather the punches that they got from 2 really physical defenses in Toronto and Detroit. Those are teams that the Cavs have struggled against in the past. And Sam Merrill said it. We really needed that to sort of be resilient, fall down 2-0 against Detroit, and find a way to get better as the series went on. And the Cavs feel like they're in a good spot, finally rounding into form as they get prepared for this series that they know is going to be tough with the Knicks playing so well.
All right, Jamal Collier, thank you much. Let's go over to Hannah.
Yeah, with more on the Knicks, Vinny Goodwill is with us. And Vinny, I know you have a new story on ESPN.com about the Knicks since they made that all-important change, making Karl-Anthony Towns the center of their offense after those back-to-back losses to the Hawks. What can you tell us about the genesis of this critical change that's changed their fortunes in the postseason?
Well, Hannah, film sessions after regular season games can be pretty brutal. Can you imagine how brutal they are after Game 3 of the playoff series, where you're down 2-1 to the Atlanta Hawks, with the expectations of making the NBA Finals, and you got a critical Game 4 in Atlanta? That was the setting that birthed this new Knicks offense. Mike Brown got into Karl-Anthony Towns saying, hey, you want the ball, what are you doing here? And then that turned into point Karl-Anthony Towns playing the role of Draymond Green, playing the role of Domantas Sabonis, players that Mike Brown has coached through the years and been able to invigorate his offense around. Since then, Karl has averaged over 8 assists a game in just under 27 minutes. That's a lot of distribution for someone who's not a point guard. And one player told me, you know what, Mike Brown said, you know what, screw it. I'm going to do it my way, and that was the genesis of what we've seen, that point differential being 25 points a game since Game 3 of that Atlanta series.
Yeah, obviously, Cat is going to buy in, but Brunson buys in everybody into what's happening because it translates into wins. It has been 9 days, though, since New York last played, and we last saw OG Anunoby leave Game 2 of the Philly series with a hamstring injury. What's his status going into tonight's game?
Well, Hannah, he's officially listed as probable, which means he's going to play tonight. We can all just rest assured that he's going to play. Earlier in last week, he was going through non-contact individual drills. And then a couple days ago, he wound up being upgraded going into full contact scrimmages. He and Josh Hart had some nicks and bruises. Of course, we all know OG Anunoby strained his hamstring in Game 2 of that Atlanta series. He missed 13 days. And he was a big-time recipient of the Karl Anthony Towns offense. He got a lot of assists from Karl. He's playing his best playoff basketball. So this is a welcome addition right back to the New York Knicks at precisely the right time.
Oh, my gosh. They have so many weapons, so many options on offense. This is going to be a tall task for Cleveland defensively. Vinny Goodwill, enjoy the game. Can't wait. Thanks.
Hannah?
That there's a little basketball game taking place tonight. The Eastern Conference Finals at Madison Square Garden. Cleveland has played 7 games in back-to-back series, and New York is entering with 9 days rest. So I don't know what you think, Joe Fortenbaugh, but if they're going to jump on the Knicks, maybe tonight's the night, right? I don't know.
Interesting trends converging
Rest,
tonight.
Russ. We just heard that OG Anunoby looks like he's going to be back. So what are your plays for game 1?
Let's start with 2 game picks, Knicks -7.5, and also the Knicks in the second half, -3.5 points. More on that in a bit. As for the 7.5, game open 5.5. Money steamed it up to 7.5 for good reason. This is a horrible spot for the Cavaliers. Since 2003, when the NBA expanded the opening round of the playoffs to 7 games, teams coming off of Game 7, in this case the Cavs, facing a team not off of Game 7, in this case the Knicks, are covering just 39% of the time. Like I said, it's a brutal spot. For that second half bet, Knicks are one of the best second half teams in the business. At home this year, 25-15-1 against the second half spread. In the playoffs, they've won the second half in 9 of 10 games with a plus 6.2 point differential. Player prop, Mikal Bridges over 13.5 points. 3 games against Cleveland this year, he's averaging 15 points per game on just over 12 shots per game. So what gives? Cleveland's going to dedicate a lot of their defensive attention to trying to slow down, not stop, but slow down Jalen Brunson, which is going to create a lot of open looks and opportunities for Bridges to take advantage. With all that rest, I see him taking advantage of the green light, and he gets over 13.5 points.
Yeah, I mean, listen, so many of those other guys could, kill them if they decide to just key in on Brunson. This isn't like just Cade Cunningham and the Pistons. This is a whole nother thing, a whole bunch of guys. And there's going to be an MVP, right? So we have Jalen Brunson right now. He's the odds-on favorite. And he's followed by, Spida, by Donovan Mitchell. Who do you like in this market?
I'd go a little bit further down the board and take a look at Karl Anthony Towns at 12-1. So that pricing, 12-1, implies a 7% chance of winning this award. 7%. I think it's higher, which is why the bet is worth making. I like the Knicks to win the series. Towns has had a great playoff run so far. 17 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists per game in somewhat limited minutes because the Knicks have been blowing people out. But more importantly, we just talked about how the Cavs are going to throw a lot of attention at Brunson. If he struggles a bit, I think Towns is the guy to step up, and at 12-1, I like that price.
Yeah, he's going to step up. He's going to find everybody else, and it is going to be fun. Joe Fortenbaugh, thanks.
Thank you, Hannah Storm.
Okay, let's go back to school. Gym class specifically. Remember when balls would